So Monday, March 20th, I was watching Next Gen Gambit. Really cool two-parter. And I put out a challenge in the custom community. I said, hey, I'd really like to see what people could come up with for the fortune uh, and the crew that exists. I think it would be a cool little pack, and I think it would be interesting. So show me what you got. And gosh, 5 6 hours later, Derek has the fortune that you see here. And this is one of the reasons I love the Star Trek community in general, our little attack wing community specifically. It's just people want to help people and people want to share their cool ideas. As you can hear, I am sick. I'm fighting a head cold here and a cough, and I apologize for not being my best, but I figured getting some content out there might be nice. So, without further ado, the Fortune. It's a Virillion class raider. It has stats of 3333, which I think fits. I think it's somewhat durable. Took a took some decent damage from the Enterprise at a 25% phaser shot. So not the most durable of ships, but I think it is really evasive, packed a bit of a punch, and I think those stats are fitting of it. Double crew, weapon, tech slot, yeah, I buy that. It was advanced, it had some tricks with some shield generators and being able to hide. Definitely had crew on board. Yeah, I think 19 points is maybe a bit generous, but, I'm willing to go with it. Named ability here. When this ship performs a speed 4 or greater straight maneuver, so fairly limited, 4, 5 straight. I think if we skip ahead on the dial, we're going to get, 4 or 5 straight. You may perform a sensor echo action, even if the ship is not cloaked or there's an aux power token beside it. I think that's a pretty good maneuver. I think that's a nice ability. It's not super powerful, and I can see why it gets a decent point cost here. Is the named ability is not doing amazing things for it. If you want that echo, you got to go straight. So you're somewhat predictable. All right, generic loses a attack die, loses a shield, loses a tech slot. So, not much reason I'm running the generic. I'll tell you that. And 16 points. I think, yeah, I think I'm not running the generic ever. Uh, but it is fairly durable. 5 durability, but it's also fairly evasive. So, maybe. We'll see. A maneuver dial. Things I like. I like to come about, even though it's red. I like 1 hard turns. I like 2 hard turns. I like all those maneuvers being white, only red on the dial, the 2 come about, and the 5 straight. That makes it fairly adjustable, fairly maneuverable, and a lot of ways to get out of danger. All right. Only a forward 90 arc, and I think I'm good with that. And same for the generic. And here we get our first captain, Arctis Baran. Combat phase. Disable one of your crew upgrades. Your skill becomes 7 until the end phase. You may deploy the neural servo elite talent upgrade to this captain for free. So 3 points for a skill 3 captain, but really, and a free talent. That's where Baran has flexibility. I like disabling a crew for the skill boost. I was going to say skill bump, skill boost. And it is a replace value, and it's totally optional. And this happens in combat, so you can move first, get in the way, bump, and then shoot, hopefully first or at least earlier, and not get blown to smithereens. All right, we're going to skip and look at the Neuro Servo talent upgrade. And then that will inform how good Baran truly is. All right. Interrupt as this keyword here. Place 2 time tokens on this card and target one of your crew upgrades and immediately use its ability, even if it has a disable or time token on it. So it's kind of like at any time, I guess. In phase, if you targeted a crew upgrade this round with a disable or time token on it, roll 1 attack die. On a hit, discard that crew upgrade. Ooh. So risk in using the Neuro Servo. I like this. I like that it adds a crew slot. So you can get more crew on Baran's ship. That doesn't mean he has to go on the Fortune, though he naturally kind of fits there. But that's bringing some good flexibility. And I find it intriguing. There's a nice kind of push your luck there. And Neuro Servo, I think... is a solid card. You're only risking crew upgrades if you try to double up on abilities. So you're not risking tons. All right, let's look at the transporter weapon. This is the tech. This is what was used by the crew, but we're going to look at it here. It's a 2-point tech action. Disable this card, target an opposing ship in range 1 that's not cloaked, has no active shield. Steal 1 tech or weapon upgrade from that ship and deploy it to yours, ignoring upgrade slots. I think I'm good with it. It is an action disable. It's range 1 and very limited effects. It's... Sorry. It's stealing, and it's a risk. Is it going to get used a ton? Probably not. But it's a card that could see a little bit of play. All right, the Miradorn Disruptors. Wow, I can talk. It's a 4-die attack. Place 2 time tokens on this card and target an opposing ship in your forward arc, or place 4 time tokens on this card and target an opposing ship in 360. Ooh, I like the flexibility there. I really do. And I like that you can say, okay, hey, I got you in my forward arc and I want to use this every other round. Or I really need to get a shot and I'll figure out a way to deal with 4 time tokens. Then modify attack die step. Spend your scan token to convert a battle station into a hit. It works on the Fortune. There's no natural battle stations, so here you go. It's 1 per ship, which I think is a good limitation. Range 1 to 2 only. I would play that. And then the Stone of Gaul. And I'm almost certain we have a Stone of Gaul, but you still needed this to complete the episode pack. Combat phase, place 2 time tokens on this card. When attacking this game round, convert all of your blanks and battle stations to hit results. If the defending ship has not already attacked, it may choose to not attack this round to negate this effect. So you got to get rid of your hostile intents, and you can not take the extra damage. So I like that. Thematic. Very thematic to the episode, and a solid ability. All right, now let's go look at the crew. So Baran, because of the talent, I like him, worth the points. Then we get Galen, Picard, and of course this upgrade may not be deployed to a fleet with Jean-Luc Picard. So for 3 points, as an action, discard your captain and perform 2 actions from your action bar or your crew upgrades as free actions. Well, and they needed to be free because you've done an action. So really it's 2 actions. Okay. But it costs you your captain. If your captain is disabled or discarded, this card becomes your captain with a skill of 8. Okay. There you go. So now you got a skill 8 captain who basically doesn't do anything. Yeah. So it's a 1 shot to do a bunch of stuff. Then we've got Talera, T'Pol. We'll start with T'Pol just because there's less here. When attacking, spend your scan token and convert all battle stations to crits. That's really good. So alone, I like that ability. Talera, setup, deploy this card this side up. When you perform a scan action, place an additional scan token on this card. As an interrupt, if there is no scan token beside your ship, you may remove one scan token from this card placed beside your ship. In phase, if there are 3 or more scan tokens on this card, discard all of the scan tokens and flip this card. Interesting. So you have to build up the scans. You can leave it on Talera's side. Get scan and target lock, for instance, and you'll have a pretty effective shot over and over and over again. Or you build up those scans, first 3 rounds of the game, play the fortune real slow, and then you flip Talera, you get to Paul, and now you have a scan that's a super Spock, really. Very offensive, very solid version of Spock that's going to do a ton of damage. And, that will hurt. All right, Riker, and this is Riker that gets independent but also Federation. Activation phase, disable this card, target a Federation ship in range 1 to 2, roll 2 attack dice. If you roll at least 1 crit, the target ship disables all of its active shields. So fitting with the theme of Riker sending the codes over to the Enterprise. When attacking a ship in range, if there is an Aux power token beside your ship, roll +1 attack die. So using the range 1 to 2 again, and getting a passive bonus dice. So really, I call this Riker mission play, because this is mission play Riker, and basically only mission play Riker. You need to use this on an independent ship going against Federation ships, or even Fed versus Fed. Because that's the only way he's going to be worth running over some different version of Riker. But in those situations, very useful. All right, Narek. When you place an Aux power token beside your ship, again, on that to come about, the 5 straight, disable this card, and you may perform 1 action this round during your activation step as if you had no Aux power tokens beside your ship. We've seen cards like this, and I'm okay with them. They're not the best. They're definitely not the worst. But this is a viable card. This is a card that can help you, can get you out of a bind. Is it absolutely necessary? No, but thematic, yeah, I like it. And then we get Vekor. She is 1 point. When attacking, declare target step. If the defending ship has no active shields, disable this card and acquire target lock on the defending ship. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Don't love that she's a disable, but for 1 point, not going to argue with that, and not all cards can be fantastic. For a cheap 1 point include, yeah, I'll run her for that. And then we get Yarnak. This is the, I forget the species, but the information trader. Also 1 point card, activation phase, discard this card, target an opposing ship in range, disable 1 crew upgrade on the target ship. That's nice that it happens in the activation phase, because you can mess somebody's plans up real quick that way. And then we have a generic Marauder, also 1 point. When attacking, modify attack dice step, discard this card, add a hit to your roll. I'm a fan of the Klingon Kunivas, works the same way. So why wouldn't I like the Marauder? And then we're back there. So overall, solid pack, very thematic. Would like to see stuff like this in the game. So Derek, thank you. Appreciate it.